Hey everyone, this is Klaus from Plant-Based News. Probably not aware of a fitness influencer called Mark Lewis, but he's recently put out an interesting video on his YouTube channel.
I know, another fitness influencer making content in the gym with a chicken. Can't anyone be original? But bear with me, because a couple of weeks ago I made this video where I explained that I was going to be getting back in this shape. And people kept asking me the same two questions, so I thought I'd answer them. I thought you were plant-based, what's with all the animals, and does this mean you'll be starting to use testosterone again? I was going to cover them both in one video, but I was worried that if I did vegan and steroids together, I'd attract so many angry trolls, one would probably die in the crush and YouTube would flag my content as dangerous. So, animals for dinner first. My diet history is that from the age of 0 to about 45, I ate all the animals. Then my wife became vegan. I tried eating like a vegan for a month, just for a YouTube video, and never went back to meat again. Why? Well, I found it very simple to stick to, and noticed almost no impact on my training or performance or health in general. I just carried on getting fitter, as I had been doing on meat. Then I decided to read up on animal farming for the first time ever really, and just thought, that is not for me. And that was that. It wasn't something I discussed much here because it wasn't something I gave much thought to. What you don't eat doesn't occupy your mind much. For example, you probably don't walk around thinking you don't eat giraffe. You just don't eat them. However, to stick with that analogy, what I found was that I was being offered giraffe a lot and would simply say, no thanks, I don't eat giraffe, but would then get met with interesting feedback. People would say, you're a weirdo then, your choice to not eat giraffe means you are going to get sick and your performance will suffer and you will waste away to nothing and then you'll die. And you not realise how many giraffes get killed just to harvest the potatoes that make your vegan chips. Don't you watch Joe Rogan's podcast and what's wrong with a real potato? And do you guys ever shut up about not eating giraffe? So I made a video a while ago explaining I was not going to use the vegan label. I was just going to be called Fussy. I wasn't actually going to change anything I did. I just hoped people would shut the up about giraffes. So some people are fussy and don't eat dogs. I'm the same, but I'm a bit more fussy because I don't eat the other animals either. So vegan without the label. And that is vegan, not plant-based. Plant-based is about what you eat, not what you think about animals. You can be plant-based and punch cats for fun while wearing a gimp suit made of leather and fur. A vegan would not punch the cat, nor wear the suit, because for them it's about more than just what you eat, irrespective of how stupid cats are. No one's vegan for their dietary health, even if they think it's a positive side effect of being vegan. It's like saying someone's Jewish because they don't want to eat pork. Vegan has been taken over as a word by the food industry, but there's a big difference between plant-based diet and vegan, a philosophy. Anyway, I now eat these, so I'm neither of those and was never Jewish in the first place. Obviously, that has excited the meat eaters because they think it's a sign that they were right all along and I was hours from death before giving in and having scrambled eggs. And it's obviously upset the vegans because it comes out of a chicken.
I want you two to predict where this is going to go.
I think he's going to go with a backyard hen is a better choice than capos. Than you going to the grocery store and purchasing animal cruelty.
You might be right.
So here's the deal for anyone who cares. My chickens are rescue chickens. Doesn't mean they come help you in an emergency, it just means they are ones from the egg-laying industry, which kills them off for dog food at about 1.5 years old, which they can afford to do because there's millions of female chickens hatched each year to replace them. Don't ask about the millions of male chickens, it'll put you off your scrambled eggs. Mine aren't dog food though, they are with me and they are happy and they're 10 times healthier than when they were free range in the factory. Many will argue that the very act of taking chickens like this just allows the egg-laying industry to continue, like buying from a puppy farm. I don't believe that. My chickens weren't bred to be pets like puppies. If everyone stopped rescuing chickens, the industry would just carry on regardless. The only thing ever likely to alter that industry is if people actually asked about the male chickens or learning what free range really means. So the chickens are my pets and they lay eggs, so I eat them. Not the act of a vegan, the act of someone who is fussy and likes eggs and there's a way to get them now without causing harm. Now, saying I enjoy the taste of eggs is not some sort of weird win for the meat eaters. I've always said I understand the appeal of eating meat and dairy and a nice leather jacket for that matter. It all tastes very good. Not the jacket, but there are many things which appeal to me, but I don't just go and help myself if I'm unhappy with the cost of doing so to someone else or something else. Now, I know some vegans would say this egg isn't without cost because I didn't get consent from the chicken, so I shouldn't have helped myself to it. But I don't think a chicken knows what consent is. I think it just knows, like any other animal, if it's content and unstressed, which my chickens are. Oh, and anybody thinking consent from a chicken, those vegan people are nuts. Perhaps, but it's an opinion born from a belief system that they feel incredibly strongly about and rooted in the simple idea that you should be nice to animals, and then taken to a point which many, me included, do find it hard to relate to. Conversely, the people who just send me pictures of sausages or post comments like, bacon, they're So I'll take the bearded flapjack lover who thinks my chickens ponder the meaning of life over, bacon boy. Oh, my sheep are pet sheep or lawnmowers. They are bred as pets, and they have a very different life with me to a regular farm sheep, not least because they might live for 20 years. And they are hair sheep, not wool sheep, so there's no shearing. I'm no fan of an animal that has been bred to the point of being screwed without human support, whether it's a dog that can't breathe properly or sheep that will overheat and die without a barber. I like that my dogs or my sheep or my chickens, for that matter, gain from living with me, but could be released into the wild and probably do quite all right for themselves. Although, if released in the same area, the chickens would probably end up being dog food after all. So in summary, I am not vegan, not plant-based. I don't eat animals, but I do keep them. If I was buying a gimp suit, it'd be synthetic. My milk comes from oats, my eggs come from chickens, and I asked neither the oat nor the chicken if that was okay. If there's a label for that, I've got no idea what it is, so I'm sticking with fussy and accepting that discussing my diet is, as it always was, going to be something I very rarely do, because it was never really very relatable to many people, and now even less so. I don't really think it matters either, because I've been fat on meat and fat as a vegan. I've run ultramarathons on meat and got in great shape as a vegan. I've just concluded that what I eat makes very little difference to my athletic performance, my physique, my health. How much I eat, that does matter and is relatable to many people, so I may well still talk about that, whether it's burgers or chocolates or giraffes.
I don't know what to say. I basically think the guy's more reasonable than a lot of the other ex-vegan videos that we see. I'm so used to seeing these videos where you click on them and it's all kinds of different excuses, whereas he's just like, still basically plant-based, but don't know the name, a bit of a vegan, eat eggs, don't think it's that harmful, and I can still perform. And by the way, I did when I was vegan. It's not really that different. I'm like, cool, fair, being honest.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the ex-vegans go so extreme the other way. They say, like, I'm not vegan for this reason, and they start off being like, oh, I'm just going to eat ethical, whatever. And then all of a sudden you see their next video and they're eating like steak. Like, that happens quite a lot, whereas I don't think that's what he's saying at all. I think he's like, in this one circumstance, I will be eating eggs, but I'm not changing the rest of how I eat, because I still know all the stuff that I knew before. Still knows about the factory farming, still not accepting that, but
he's taking ownership of his food system. Isn't that what we want people to do? Don't we want them to take away the power from these corporations that are continuously making us sick, that aren't following regulatory mechanisms that ensure the health of the populations of which they serve are staying healthy? And he's rescuing animals. He's not eating the goats. He's not eating the sheep. He's not eating the chickens. And I think that that's another important delineation we have to make here. And I say this to people all the time that walk through grocery stores blindlessly and pick up a slice of flesh. I'm like, would you be able to cut that animal's throat, skin it, and serve it? And if you're unable to, then why would you pay for someone else to do your dirty work? That's the voice of the oppressor. And what I think that this gentleman is doing is not being an oppressor.
Yeah. There was a comment underneath Klaus that said, I've been vegan for 25 years and I get this. A friend who rescued chickens ate some eggs. Others I know feed the eggs back to their chickens, and I've seen someone give their rescued chicken eggs to neighbours for free so that they wouldn't get them at the store. In all the cases, they rescue the animals from a bad life and give them a safe place to simply be, and I appreciate that, which is quite good. And then somebody said below, I could be wrong, but as I understand it, the chickens we have today have been selectively bred to lay as many eggs as possible, to the point it's not nice for them, and every egg they lay, more nutrients are taken from them. So many people who rescue chickens give the egg back so that they can get the nutrients back. This would seem to be the vegan option in this scenario. And he actually responded and said, true, they lay them at an insane rate, far more than I can eat, so they are fed back about 70% of what they lay. Their favourite is scrambled eggs with the shells mashed in. So like, he's actually thinking about that as well. He's not just eating all the eggs. He's like giving the chickens the nutrients still. So it feels like it's like, I wouldn't personally do it myself, but it does feel like a more balanced and, like you said, Klaus, a more nuanced way of approaching it. And the animals are getting great lives. So
I'm just thinking, if I was in the country, maybe like once a year or something, hypothetically, I can't think of anybody that has this set up. But if I was invited over to somebody's house and they offered me an egg in this way, I obviously would not be judgmental in any kind of way because it's just not the done thing, especially with a guy like this. He's so reasonable. But I think my decision to turn down the egg in that moment, it wouldn't necessarily be like, oh my God, I'm not going to eat that because of compassion. It would just be like, no, I'm plant-based and vegan. I
just don't eat that anymore.
I just don't eat that anymore. And so I think there are probably some good arguments to make why this could be seen as a commodification. It might not be vegan in every way, but those are kind of philosophical, very intellectual arguments. They're not really practical in any way. So I think if I was communicating with a friend that did this practice, I wouldn't condemn them in any way. I'd just be like, yeah, cool. It's great you're thinking about your food.
Yeah. And connecting with it and having a relationship with the animals, which most people don't do. You're just going to a supermarket and buying a product.